You know that moment? It's not when you're deciding to get in. That's all analysis. It's clean. It's not when you're stopped out. That's pain, but it's a clean kind of pain. No, the real quiet torture happens after you're right. The trade you planned is moving. It's in the green. Your entry is proven. And then, the room gets very quiet, and the voice in your head gets very loud. It's working. I'm a genius. Should I add more? This could be the home run. This is what the pros do. A different voice, maybe a minute later. Wait, it's pulling back a little. Maybe I should take some off. Lock in this profit. Don't be greedy. Back and forth. Greed wearing the mask of confidence. Fear wearing the mask of prudence. We spend all our time talking about finding the trade, the perfect entry, the risk management. And that's vital. But I'll tell you this. The chasm between a consistently okay trader and a genuinely great one isn't filled with better indicators. It's filled with these moments. These agonizing, solitary, gut-wrenching moments where you have to decide, do I press my advantage or do I protect it? Scaling in and scaling out. On paper, they're just tactics, order management. In reality, they are the purest, most unvarnished reflection of your trading psychology. They are where your strategy meets your soul, and most of the time, they have a screaming match. Today, we're not talking about how to scale. You can get that from a textbook. We're talking about the why behind your why. The mental game no one talks about because it's too raw, too personal. It's the game played in the silence between your ears when real money is on the line. If you've ever felt that cocktail of euphoria and panic in a winning trade, if you've ever cursed yourself for taking profit too early or for adding to a winner only to watch it crumble, you're in the right place. This is losing trader psychology. Let's get uncomfortable. Before we dive into the mind, let's just make sure we're looking at the same map. Because sometimes we use these terms and assume we mean the same thing. Scaling in. This is what it sounds like. You're in a trade. It starts to go your way. And instead of just riding your initial position, you add to it. You increase your size as the trade is winning. You're basically saying, the market is confirming my thesis, so I will increase my bet on that thesis. It's aggressive. It's confident. It feels like doubling down on being right. Scaling out. The opposite motion. You're in a winning trade, and instead of waiting for one big exit point, you peel off your position in pieces. Sell a quarter here, half there, let the last bit run. You're saying, I will bank some certainty now and reduce my exposure, while giving the remainder a chance to become a bigger winner. It's conservative. It's defensive. It feels like securing the bag. Now listen carefully. Both of these are perfectly legitimate strategies. This is not a video saying one is good and the other is bad. A systematic trend follower might scale into a massive move over weeks. A swing trader might scale out into resistance. The tactic is neutral. The problem, the absolute carnage, comes from what's driving the decision in the moment. Is it your premeditated plan? Or is it the emotional weather system currently raging in your limbic brain? 90% of the time, for the losing trader, and we've all been there, it's the latter. We're not executing a strategy. We're reacting to an emotion. Let's start with scaling in. It feels incredible. Why? Because it's not just about making money. It's about validation. You put on a trade. It goes green. Your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, the I'm smart chemical. Scaling in is an attempt to mainline that feeling. You're not just adding a position, you're adding to your own sense of competence. You are, in that moment, the wolf of Wall Street. The chart is your story, and you are the brilliant author. Here's the first mental trap, confirmation bias on a sugar rush. Once that initial win happens, your brain stops being a scientist and becomes a cheerleader. You start to see every little pullback as a better entry, ignoring any nascent sign of weakness. You're cherry-picking data that supports your glorious conclusion. I am right. You're no longer analyzing the market. You're worshiping your own genius. But the deeper, more devastating trap is what I call averaging up the ego. Think about averaging down. We all know it's dangerous. It's trying to prove the market wrong. Averaging up feels sophisticated. It feels like what the smart money does. But here's the psychological whiplash. When you scale into a winner and then the market violently reverses, you don't just lose money. You lose face. To yourself. That winning trade, the one that was proof of your brilliance, is now a loser. Not just any loser, a bigger loser than if you just left it alone. The narrative flips from, I am a genius, to, I am an idiot who turned a winner into a loser. The P&L hit is one thing. The hit to your identity is catastrophic. This is where you see traders go berserk. Revenge trading, blowing up accounts, taking insane risks to make it back and reclaim not just the money, but that stolen feeling of being right. They're not trading the market anymore. They're trying to repair a shattered self-image. You have to surgically remove validation from the equation. Scaling in cannot be a reward for being right. It must be a cold, clinical, predefined tactical maneuver. Your plan should sound like this. I will enter with 50% of my position size. I will only add the remaining 50% if the price achieves ABC level and then pulls back to def level with XYZ condition on the volume profile. It's not, I feel good, I'll add. It's, the market has given me a second, qualified invitation according to my rules. You're not following your euphoria. You're following a protocol. The market gives the signal, you are just the mechanic. Now, scaling out seems like the wise, mature older sibling to scaling in. Take profits. No one ever went broke taking a profit. It feels safe, responsible, but its psychological traps are more insidious because they don't feel like reckless ego, they feel like sensible caution, and that makes them harder to spot. The prime trap of scaling out is the cemetery of lost runners. You're in a trade. It goes up 2%. You take a third off. Smart, you think. It goes up another 3%. You take another third. Very prudent. Then it rockets up 15% more without you. And that feeling is a special kind of hell. It's not the sharp pain of a loss. It's a slow, sinking, corrosive regret. A loss is the market beating you. A missed giant winner is you beating you. That ghost will haunt your next 10 trades. It will whisper in your ear, don't take profit too early this time. Remember what you lost. So now, you're paralyzed. You hold and hold and hold, watching a 5% profit dwindle to 2%, to break even, to a loss. You've now given back gains, which feels awful, specifically because you were trying to avoid the regret of missing out. You're in a psychological feedback loop of your own making. You're not scaling out strategically. You're scaling out to manage anxiety. You're selling pieces of your position to buy tiny moments of relief. Phew, that part is safe. But you're bankrupting your potential. You must change what scaling out means to you. It is not about securing profit. That's a byproduct. Scaling out is about monetizing your opportunity cost and purchasing psychological runway. Let me explain. When you scale out, you are consciously saying, I am trading a chunk of my unknown future profit for a chunk of known present profit. But the key is the second part. You are also using that known profit to buy mental clarity. The profit you bank isn't just money in the account. It's a get-out-of-jail-free card for your emotions. Once that first piece is off, the trade is in the money. The pressure is off. You can now think clearly about the remaining runner. Your fear of the whole thing turning red is gone. That purchased clarity allows you to actually follow your plan for the rest of the position without the choking grip of anxiety. You're not being cautious. You're being strategic. You're using capital to fund your own mental stability, which is your greatest trading asset. This brings us to the heart of it all, the grand unified theory of trading psychology. When you scale in or out based on the emotional weather of the moment, the euphoria, the fear, the regret, you are not trading a financial instrument. You are trading to manage your own self-concept. Every decision becomes a verdict on whether you are smart or dumb, disciplined or weak. The P&L isn't a score for your strategy, it's a report card on you. Scaling in becomes a way to prove you're a wolf. Scaling out becomes a way to prove you're not a pig. It's all ego. It's all identity. The shift, the only shift that leads to consistency, is this. You must trade to execute a strategy, not to validate an identity. You are not the hero of the story. The trading plan is the hero. You are just the loyal servant whose job is to execute the plan's commands with fanatical precision. Sometimes the plan has you scale into a trade that then fails. Your job was to scale in. You did it correctly. The outcome is separate. Sometimes the plan has you scale out of a trade that then goes to the moon. Your job was to scale out. You did it correctly. The ghost of the lost runner is not your fault. It's just data for the next plan review. This is the ultimate detachment. Your worth is not in the single trade outcome. Your worth is in your fidelity to the process. When you scale, you are not saying, I am smart. You are saying, condition A has been met, therefore action B is required. You become a rule-based automaton for entry and exit, and a deeply thoughtful human during your planning and review sessions. This isn't theoretical. You have to build this muscle. It atrophies instantly under pressure if you don't train it. 1. The simulation of emotion. Paper trade the scales, don't just paper trade entries. That's easy. I want you to paper trade specifically the scaling decisions. For 2 weeks, take trades in a sim and practice only scaling in and out according to a rigid, written rule set. But here's the key. Journal the emotions. Write down in real time. Price hit my ad level. I felt a rush of excitement and wanted to add double. I followed the rule and added only 25%. Or, took first profit at target. Immediately felt anxious it would run away. The anxiety peaked at 7 out of 10. You're not practicing the market. You're practicing observing and containing your internal reactions in a safe space. 2. The written script. Your dialogue with chaos, your trading plan, must have a dedicated scaling protocol section. It must read like a pilot's checklist. It must be utterly boring. No room for interpretation. Asterisk scaling in protocol. Add 25% of initial size only if 1. Price reaches 1.5x my initial risk, R, and 2. A pullback to the 50% Fibonacci of the initial move occurs, and 3. The 15-minute RSI resets to below 50. Stop for entire position, moves to break even. Asterisk. Asterisk scaling out protocol. Exit 50% at 1.5R. Move stop on remainder to break even. Exit 25% more at 3R. Trail remainder with a 2-bar low on the 1-hour chart. Asterisk. The voice in your head during the trade doesn't get to improvise. It just reads the script. 3. The review that matters. Process over P&L in your trade journal. You will have 2 verdicts for every scaled trade. Verdict 1. Did I make or lose money? Just note it. Verdict 2. The important one, did I follow my scaling protocol exactly? Did emotion hijack the decision? If I deviated, what emotion was driving the wheel? Was it the fear of being wrong, didn't add when I should have? The greed for validation, added when I shouldn't have? The anxiety of loss, exited early? You reward yourself, truly, mentally pat yourself on the back, for a trade where you followed the scaling rules perfectly, even if you lost money. You lost money correctly. That is a successful trade. A trade where you made money but broke your rules out of fear or greed is a failure, a dangerous one, because it rewards dysfunction. Scaling in and scaling out. They're presented as tools for managing your position size. And they are. But their higher purpose, their true master function, is for managing your own psychological momentum. Scaling in, done right, is about adding to your conviction when the market confirms it, not when your ego demands it. Scaling out, done right, is about banking mental capital as much as financial capital, buying yourself the clarity to see the trade through. This is the silent, inner game. This is where you graduate from being a prisoner of your own reactions to becoming the architect of your own actions. It's not easy. It's the work of a lifetime. But every time you choose the rule over the impulse, the plan over the feeling, you aren't just making a better trade. You are building a trader who can last. If this hit home, if you felt those ghosts, heard those voices, you're not alone. That's why this channel exists. This is Losing Trader Psychology. Do me a favor. Hit like if you've ever turned a winner into a loser by adding to your ego. Subscribe if you want to keep doing this deep, uncomfortable work together. And down in the comments, I'd love to know, what's your default? Are you a natural scaler in, addicted to that validation high? Or a scaler out, constantly haunted by the runners that got away? What's the one mental hurdle you face in these moments? Thanks for your time. Until next time, remember, trade the plan you made when you were calm, not the story your ego tells you when you're scared or greedy. Trade your plan, not your identity.